Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, we are diving deep into one of the most pressing crises of our time. Tehran is running out of water, and millions of lives hang in the balance. What was once a bustling city with rivers and reservoirs is now facing an unprecedented drought that threatens not just daily life, but the very future of Iran's capital. The situation is urgent, and understanding it is crucial, not only for the people living there, but for the global community watching climate change unfold in real time. Water scarcity is not a new challenge for Iran, but the scale of the crisis in Tehran has reached alarming levels. Decades of mismanagement, overpopulation, and climate change have combined to push the city to its limits. Reservoirs that once supplied millions are now depleted, and the rivers that sustained the region are drying at a record pace. Experts warn that the city is heading toward a point of no return, where water shortages could lead to a complete shutdown of essential services. The consequences of this drought are not abstract. Families in Tehran are already experiencing rationed water, often receiving only a few hours of supply per day. Schools, hospitals, and businesses are affected, and the impact on agriculture surrounding the city is devastating. Crops are failing, livestock are dying, and food prices are skyrocketing. The city that once thrived on its abundant water resources now faces a future defined by scarcity and hardship. Urban infrastructure is struggling to cope. Water pipelines are under immense pressure, and old networks are collapsing under the strain of continuous demand. Many neighborhoods experience low water pressure or complete cut-offs, forcing residents to find alternative sources, often unsafe, putting public health at risk. The psychological toll is also immense, with millions living in constant uncertainty about where their next drop of water will come from. This crisis is a stark illustration of what climate change can do to urban centers when combined with poor planning and overuse of resources. Tehran's population has grown rapidly over the past decades, and water consumption has outpaced the natural replenishment of rivers and underground aquifers. Experts emphasize that the current situation is not just a temporary drought, but the result of years of unsustainable practices, including over-extraction of groundwater, poorly maintained dams, and inefficient agricultural irrigation. Government authorities have attempted to mitigate the crisis with various measures, including rationing schedules, new water projects, and appeals for conservation. However, these efforts have so far proven insufficient. Many citizens are skeptical of official statements, pointing out that while policies exist on paper, the reality on the ground tells a different story. Communities are turning to private water vendors or installing costly filtration and storage systems, but these solutions are not scalable for millions of residents. The environmental consequences of Tehran's drought extend far beyond the city. Rivers that feed into the capital originate in mountain ranges, which have experienced declining snowfall over the years due to changing climate patterns. This reduced snowpack diminishes the natural flow of rivers, accelerating the depletion of reservoirs. Soil degradation and desertification are spreading in areas surrounding the city, further reducing the ability to grow food and sustain local ecosystems. Public health is another critical concern. Contaminated water sources become more common as people turn to wells, cisterns, and other informal methods of accessing water. Waterborne diseases and sanitation issues are on the rise, adding another layer of crisis to the lives of Tehran's residents. Hospitals are strained not only by the lack of water, but also by the growing number of illnesses linked to inadequate hygiene and insufficient nutrition caused by failing crops. Economically, The drought has a ripple effect across Iran. Food prices are rising, construction projects are delayed, and industrial operations that depend on water are facing closures. The scarcity of water impacts energy production as well, particularly hydropower facilities that rely on reservoirs. This combination of social, environmental, and economic stressors creates a perfect storm for instability, with millions of people facing uncertainty about their livelihoods. The human stories emerging from Tehran are harrowing. Families queuing for water in the early hours, children unable to attend school because of rationed water supplies, elderly residents struggling with heat and dehydration. These are not distant reports but the daily reality for millions. Personal accounts paint a picture of a city on edge, where survival depends on resourcefulness, community solidarity, and sheer resilience. Experts warn that the crisis in Tehran could become a blueprint for what other major cities might face if climate change continues unchecked. Urban centers worldwide rely heavily on centralized water systems, and disruptions can cascade into widespread humanitarian emergencies. Tehran is a warning sign that proactive planning, sustainable water management, and investment in resilient infrastructure are essential to prevent future disasters. International attention is growing. Environmental organizations, climate researchers, and humanitarian agencies have highlighted Tehran's water crisis in reports and campaigns. Some have proposed technological interventions, such as desalination plants, water recycling, and smart irrigation systems. But these solutions require significant investment and time, resources, that are limited in a city already grappling with immediate shortages. The psychological impact of living under constant water scarcity cannot be overstated. Anxiety, stress, and uncertainty permeate daily life. Children growing up in Tehran are learning about drought not as a distant problem, but as a present reality. Mental health services are increasingly necessary, but resources are stretched thin. The long-term implications for societal well-being are profound. Local communities are adapting in creative ways. Some neighborhoods have established collective water sharing systems. Urban gardens are using drip irrigation and other conservation methods. Citizens are educating each other about water, saving practices, demonstrating resilience and innovation. Yet, while these grassroots efforts are inspiring, they cannot compensate for systemic shortages affecting millions of residents. The political dimension of Tehran's drought is significant. Resource scarcity often triggers debates over water rights, allocation priorities, and government accountability. Conflicts can arise between urban and rural areas, between different sectors, and even between neighboring provinces. Managing these tensions requires careful policy decisions and transparent communication, yet bureaucratic inefficiencies and political obstacles complicate solutions. Technological solutions are part of the conversation. Water recycling, desalination, rainwater harvesting, and smart monitoring systems are potential lifelines. Iran has begun investing in some of these projects, but progress is slow, and the immediate crisis demands faster, more efficient action. Partnerships with international organizations and private sector innovators could accelerate solutions, yet political and economic sanctions pose barriers to collaboration. Climate scientists emphasize that Tehran's situation is emblematic of broader trends. Global warming is reducing snowfall in mountain ranges, changing rainfall patterns, and increasing evaporation rates. When combined with urban expansion and overuse of water resources, these environmental pressures create a scenario where cities that once thrived can quickly spiral into crisis. Tehran is not unique. It is part of a growing list of urban centers facing severe water stress. The media has played a crucial role in documenting the crisis. Local and international outlets have covered protests, water shortages, and the daily struggles of residents. Social media amplifies these stories, connecting citizens, researchers, and policymakers. The visibility of Tehran's crisis helps raise awareness, but also puts pressure on authorities to act decisively. In the midst of the crisis, education about water conservation is becoming a priority. Schools, universities, and community centers are teaching new generations about sustainable water use, efficient irrigation, and climate adaptation strategies. Knowledge dissemination is critical to long-term resilience, ensuring that future leaders and citizens understand the importance of managing limited resources responsibly. Despite the severity of the situation, there are glimmers of hope. Some urban planners are rethinking infrastructure, introducing water-efficient technologies, and redesigning neighborhoods to minimize waste. International collaboration has led to pilot projects in water recycling and urban agriculture. Citizens' initiatives demonstrate that awareness and action at the grassroots level can make a tangible difference, even in the face of overwhelming challenges. The timeline for recovery, however, remains uncertain. Reservoirs need to refill, aquifers must recover, and policy reforms must be implemented. Without significant intervention, Tehran risks permanent water shortages that could disrupt the city's social, economic, and environmental systems for years to come. Every delay compounds the crisis, making immediate, large-scale action essential. Experts recommend a combination of short-term emergency measures and long-term sustainable planning. Emergency water deliveries, stricter rationing, and infrastructure repairs can provide immediate relief, while long-term solutions require urban redesign, renewable water sources, and climate-adaptive policies. Public participation and transparency are vital for ensuring that these measures are effective and equitable. Tehran's water crisis is also a cautionary tale for global cities. Urban centers worldwide must learn from Tehran's experience and take proactive measures to safeguard water resources. Investments in sustainable infrastructure, climate adaptation, and public awareness are critical to preventing similar catastrophes elsewhere. Tehran's countdown is a warning that ignoring environmental limits comes at a high cost. Humanitarian organizations are increasingly involved in providing assistance, distributing emergency water supplies, and advocating for policy changes. While their impact is valuable, long-term solutions require structural reforms and governmental commitment. International collaboration and technical expertise can help, but ultimately, sustainable water management must be led locally with strong oversight and accountability. In conclusion, Tehran's drought is a crisis of unprecedented scale. Millions are affected, infrastructure is under strain, and the social, economic, and environmental consequences are severe. The city is a stark example of what happens when climate change, mismanagement, and rapid urban growth converge. Immediate action, innovative solutions, and global awareness are essential to prevent the situation from worsening. Tehran's countdown has begun, and the world is watching. Every drop counts, every policy decision matters, and every community response can make a difference. Understanding the crisis, spreading awareness, and demanding action are steps each of us can take to ensure that no city faces a future without water. The challenge is immense, but with coordinated effort, it is possible to turn the tide before it's too late.